My best friend sent me 9 screenshots in the dead of night, claiming my boyfriend had been spamming her with suggestive messages for a week. Babe, block this freak right now. I'm literally sick to my stomach. My hands shook with rage. I was about to open my boyfriend's contact card to tear into him, but the moment my finger hovered over the block button, a line of translucent text drifted across my vision. This friend's Photoshop skills are pathetic. The timeline doesn't even line up. She's a serial homewrecker. She did the exact same thing to Daphne's last boyfriend. Poor Daphne still treats her like a sister, while Melanie has been drooling over Jasper's family properties forever. I froze, staring at the screenshots. I pinched to zoom, focusing on the details. The timestamp on the messages read Wednesday at 2 a.m. But on Wednesday night, Jasper had been asleep right next to me in my bed. Melanie, we've been best friends for 6 years. How long have you been putting on this show? If you want to play the victim so badly, I'll give you the stage. My phone buzzed again. Melanie, Daphne, whatever you do, don't confront him. Men like him get violent when they're cornered. Just ghost him and block his number. Look at that. So incredibly thoughtful. She was already mapping out my retreat, desperate to keep us from talking so her little lie wouldn't fall apart. I flipped my phone face down on the nightstand and took a slow, deep breath. The bathroom door swung open right then, and Jasper walked out wearing a pair of dark gray lounge pants. He was built broad, with defined abdominal lines from years of consistent lifting, and his dark hair was still dripping wet. Seeing me sitting on the edge of the bed staring into space, he draped his towel around his neck. It's the middle of the night. Who are you picking a fight with? His voice was low and raspy. He walked over, naturally reaching down to wrap his arms around my waist. I tensed and twisted away, avoiding his touch. Jasper froze. He was sharp. He immediately sensed the shift in the room, his brow drawing together. Hey, what's wrong? Are you feeling okay? I looked up, holding his gaze. Another line of text floated across the air. Oh look, this poor guy has no idea he's about to get dumped because of a snake in the grass friend. Honestly, Jasper's body is incredible. No wonder Melanie is dying to get her claws into him. Ignoring the text, I tossed my phone straight into his lap. See for yourself. Confused, Jasper picked up the device. The moment his eyes scanned the screen, his expression went cold. The temperature in the bedroom seemed to drop instantly. His long fingers swiped rapidly through the screenshots, his scowl deepening with every second. Who the hell photoshopped this? Jasper snapped his head up, his eyes blazing with a quiet fury. I don't even have your best friend on social media, let alone her phone number. Where did these messages come from? I leaned back against the headboard, keeping my voice entirely level. Melanie sent them. She says you've been harassing her for a week. Jasper let out a sharp, bitter laugh. He threw the phone back onto the mattress and spun around to grab his jacket from the chair. I'm going to her place right now. I have never seen anything so disgusting in my entire life. I reached out quickly and caught his forearm. Stop. If you go and confront her now, she'll just tell everyone you're acting out of guilt and rage. Jasper stopped, looking down at me from his height. Do you believe her, or do you believe me? There was a vulnerable, tight edge to his voice, a quiet fear of being misunderstood. I looked at his tense jawline and suddenly found the whole situation almost absurd. Of course I believe you. On Wednesday at 2 in the morning, you were mumbling in your sleep and begging me to bring you a glass of water. If you were sending thirsty texts while doing that, I'd have to call an exorcist, not a lawyer. The tension left Jasper's shoulders instantly. He took my wrist, sliding down to sit on the edge of the mattress. If you believe me, why won't you let me go tear her down? I pulled my hand back, picked up my phone, and began typing a response to Melanie, because simply calling her out is too easy. I held down the voice message button, letting my voice crack with a hint of a sob. Mel, I can't believe he's this kind of person. I'm going to ask him to meet up tomorrow so we can talk face to face. Can you come over and help me confront him? Message sent. Jasper watched my performance, raising an eyebrow. What's the plan? I turned to look at him. I'm inviting her over for dinner tomorrow. Since she wants to play the victim so badly, the least I can do is build her a stage. Jasper let out a soft snort. Fine. I can't wait to see what kind of garbage comes out of her mouth. The next afternoon at 5 p.m., the doorbell rang right on time. I opened the door to find Melanie standing on the porch. It was barely 50 degrees outside, yet she was wearing a tight, low-cut knit top and a pleated skirt that barely reached her thighs. The moment she saw me, her eyes welled with tears. Daphne, I didn't sleep a single wink last night. I was so terrified you'd hate me for ruining your relationship. She leaned in, trying to hug me. The overwhelming, sweet scent of her cheap perfume hit my nose, making me instinctively step back. The floating text appeared right on cue. Damn, she really dressed for the occasion. Isn't she freezing? She didn't come to comfort her friend. She came to steal her man. Poor Daphne. Remember her college senior crush, Devin? Melanie pulled the exact same routine to ruin things back then. Devin. The name brought back a sharp, forgotten sting. Back in college, a senior I really liked had confessed his feelings to me. Melanie had run to me crying, just like this. She claimed Devin had cornered her, touched her inappropriately, and wouldn't leave her alone. Furious and heartbroken, I had slapped Devin in front of half her class and cut off all contact. Only later did I hear rumors that Melanie had tried to throw herself at Devin, got rejected, and lied to get revenge. I had dismissed it as gossip back then. Now, I realized how painfully naive I had been. Come on in. It's freezing out there, I said, swallowing the rising bile in my throat as I stepped aside. Melanie slipped off her shoes, her eyes immediately scanning the living room. Where's Jasper? Is he not home from work yet? Her tone was breezy, but she lingered on his name. He's in the kitchen making dinner, I said, pointing toward the open concept kitchen. Melanie's eyes lit up. She dropped her purse and walked over. Oh, we can't have a man doing all the cooking. Jasper, let me help you with that. She reached out to grab the chef's knife from Jasper's hand. Without looking up, Jasper slammed the knife down onto the cutting board with a loud thud. The blade landed barely an inch from her manicured fingers. Melanie shrieked, taking 2 sharp steps back. Stay back, Jasper said, his voice cold enough to freeze water. Your perfume is going to ruin the food. The floating comments went wild. Yes, Jasper is savage. Look at her face. Melanie is turning green. And indeed, she looked mortified. She turned to me, her eyes pleading for defense. Daphne, look at him. I pretended not to notice, turning to pour some water. He's just stressed from work. Mel, don't take it personally. Why don't you wait on the couch? Dinner was excruciating. Melanie deliberately avoided the chair I pulled out for her and sat directly opposite Jasper. She picked up a piece of rib and cooed, Jasper, these ribs are a little tough for me. My teeth are so sensitive. Could you cut it up for me? My grip on my fork tightened. Who actually talks like this? Jasper set his fork down, a mock pleasant smile on his face. If your teeth are that bad, you should probably stick to baby food. Or I can recommend a good dentist. Melanie froze. Tears welled up instantly. Jasper, why are you always so mean to me? I'm Daphne's best friend. Is it because I told Daphne about the harassing texts you sent me? Are you just angry because you got caught?
The room fell into a heavy, suffocating silence. Jasper didn't flinch. He leaned back in his chair, taking a slow sip of his water before setting the glass down with a deliberate click against the wood. Harassing texts, Jasper said, his tone dripping with mock curiosity. That's funny, Melanie, because I was under the impression you didn't even have my phone number. Daphne, didn't you say she sent screenshots? I did, I replied smoothly, picking up my phone from the table and unlocking it. In fact, I have them right here. Mel, you said these were sent from Jasper's personal number last Wednesday at 2 in the morning, right? Melanie sniffled, pulling a tissue from her purse to daintily dab at the non-existent tears in her eyes. Yes, he kept messaging me, telling me how much he wanted to see me, saying you were asleep and wouldn't know. Daphne, I was so disgusted. I couldn't keep it from you anymore. A line of glowing text drifted across my field of vision. She is lying through her porcelain veneers. Look at her left hand, she's literally clutching her purse like a shield. I smiled softly, resting my chin in my hand. That's so crazy, Mel, because last Wednesday at 2 a.m. Jasper was suffering from a 102-degree fever. He was delirious, muttering about wanting ice water, and I was sitting right beside him putting cold compresses on his forehead until sunrise. Melanie's dabbing motion froze mid-air. Well, maybe it was Tuesday night. Or Thursday. I might have misread the timestamp because I was so distraught. Except the phone number in your screenshot has 11 digits, Jasper added coldly, leaning forward into the warm light of the chandelier. My carrier operates on 10. You didn't even use a real template when you edited the contact header. I didn't edit anything, Melanie gasped, her voice pitching an octave higher as her face flushed a blotchy, uneven red. Daphne, are you really taking his side over mine? We've been best friends for 6 years. Why would I ever make something like this up? That's the exact question I've been asking myself all day, I said, my voice dropping its soft demeanor, growing dead quiet. Why would you make it up, Mel? The air in the dining room turned icy. Melanie scrambled out of her chair, her heel catching on the rug, making her wobble awkwardly. I can't believe this. I came here to protect you and you're treating me like a criminal. If you want to stay with a cheater, fine, enjoy being played. She grabbed her purse, spinning toward the entryway. Wait, I called out, my voice ringingly clear. Before you leave, Mel, there's someone else who wants to say hi. I hit a button on my phone, setting it down on the table on speakerphone. A second later, a woman's voice echoed through the speaker. Melanie, is that you? Melanie stopped dead in her tracks, her hand hovering over the doorknob. Her body stiffened instantly. Chloe. Melanie whispered, her voice trembling. Yeah, it's Chloe, the voice replied, cold and brimming with years of suppressed rage. Daphne called me this morning. She told me what you were trying to do to Jasper. Sounded awfully familiar, so I decided to check my old drive. Another line of translucent text floated in front of me. Chloe, the ex-fiancée of Marcus, Jasper's business partner. Melanie tried the exact same trick 3 years ago to break up their engagement. You sent me forged messages back then too, didn't you? Chloe said through the speaker. Claiming Marcus was hitting on you behind my back. You ruined my engagement because Marcus refused to give your brother that low-interest investor loan. That's a lie, Melanie shrieked, whirling around to face me, her eyes wide with terror. Daphne, turn that off. She's crazy. She's just bitter. I have the forensic IT report right here, Melanie, Chloe continued sharply. Daphne sent me your screenshots today. My brother runs a digital forensics firm. He pulled the metadata from the images you sent Daphne. They were generated using a web-based fake text generator from an IP address registered to your home apartment. Melanie's breath hitched. The color drained completely from her lips. Jasper stood up from the table, towering and imposing. It gets better, Melanie. You didn't just target my relationship. You targeted my family. Melanie backed away until her spine hit the front door. What are you talking about? Your dad's logistics firm has been bidding for the supply chain contract with my family's real estate group for 3 months, Jasper said smoothly, pulling a crisp manila folder from his jacket hanging near the doorway. You figured if you ruined my relationship with Daphne, you could position yourself as the supportive shoulder to lean on, and once you were in my inner circle, you'd push your dad's contract through. The floating text shimmered again. Ding, ding, ding. She also bribed Jasper's assistant $2,000 last month to get his private calendar schedules. Asterisk, you bribed my assistant, didn't you? Jasper asked, throwing the folder onto the console table with a sharp slap. Too bad my assistant told me the minute you offered her the cash. We've been tracking every move you've made. Melanie shook her head frantically, tears finally spilling over, not from remorse but from sheer panic-stricken humiliation. Daphne, please, we're sisters, you know how much I've done for you. I walked over, stopping just a few feet away from her. Sisters, like how you made me slap Devin in college because he rejected you. Like how you turned everyone against Daphne 3 years ago so you could steal her connections. You don't have sisters, Melanie, you have victims. I pulled out my phone and tapped the screen. and starting tonight the show is over. What did you just do? Melanie gasped, staring at my phone in horror. I just posted a video, I said calmly. A very detailed, very well-edited breakdown of your little hobby, the edited screenshots, the metadata report from Chloe's firm, and audio of you right now in my hallway. Melanie's phone vibrated violently in her purse, then it chimed again, and again. A rapid-fire bombardment of notifications began chiming non-stop. She frantically whipped her phone out. Her face turned ghost white as she scrolled. The local social circles, alumni group chats, and industry forums were already lighting up. Delete it, Melanie screamed, lunging at me. Daphne, delete it right now. My father's contract signing is tomorrow morning. If his board sees this. Jasper stepped effortlessly between us, his arm forming an unyielding barrier that sent Melanie staggering back. Your father's contract signing was tomorrow morning, Jasper corrected coldly. My father officially cancelled the bid 20 minutes ago. In fact, he released a public statement citing ethical non-compliance by your family's firm. Melanie dropped her phone. The screen cracked across the glass, but the notifications kept lighting up the dark floor like a strobe light. You ruined me, she whimpered, falling to her knees among her designer bags and coat. You ruined my family. You ruined yourself the moment you mistook my kindness for stupidity, I said, looking down at her without a trace of pity. Get out of my house. Jasper escorted a hysterical, sobbing Melanie out the front door and locked it behind her. The quiet that settled over the apartment was absolute, punctuated only by the soft hum of the refrigerator. I walked over to the dining table and sat down, staring at the half-eaten dinner. The glowing text above the table flickered one last time, mission accomplished. The snake has been defanged, skinned, and displayed for all to see. Good job, Daphne. Then with a faint shimmer, the text dissolved into thin air. Jasper walked back into the dining room, loosening his collar. He looked at me, a soft, genuine smile replacing the icy glare he had worn all evening. Are you okay? He asked gently, sitting in the chair beside me and taking my hand. I let out a long, shuddering breath, and then, surprisingly, a small laugh escaped my lips. I feel like 100 pounds of dead weight just lifted off my chest. She deserved worse, Jasper said, squeezing my fingers tightly. Manipulating you for 6 years, ruining your past relationships. She got exactly what she deserved, I replied, looking into his eyes. Her social status was her entire life. Now everyone knows who she really is. No amount of fake screenshots can fix that. Jasper leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. So about those ribs, do I really need to get you baby food, or are your teeth okay? I burst out laughing, shoving his shoulder playfully. My teeth are fine, you idiot. 2 weeks later, the dust had finally settled, but the ripple effects of that night were far from over. I was sitting in a cozy cafe downtown with Devon, my senior crush from college whom I had wrongly slapped years ago. It had taken an hour-long apology and showing him the evidence, but he had forgiven me entirely, admitting he was just relieved the truth had finally come out. I still can't believe she kept up the lie for so long, Devon said, shaking his head as he took a sip of his coffee. Half our college alumni group has blocked her now. Gets worse, I said, leaning in. Her father's company suffered a massive stock plunge after Jasper's family pulled out of the deal. Other investors started digging into their books and found evidence of severe financial fraud. Her dad is facing an audit and their family had to put their estate up for sale. Just then my phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from an unknown number. Daphne, please. I'm living in a studio apartment now. My dad won't speak to me. No one will hire me. Please take the video down. I'm begging you. I looked at the text for a brief second. No floating text appeared in the air this time. I didn't need a magical line of text to tell me what to do anymore. I tapped the screen, blocked the number without replying, and set my phone face down. Everything okay? Devon asked. Everything is perfect, I smiled, looking out the window at the bright, clear sky. Just taking out the trash.